Hello everybody. Okay, we've seen the last blood moon. We've seen the last blood moon on the 27th over the 28th, depending on where you are in the world, southern hemisphere or the northern hemisphere, and I'm in the southern. It fell on the 27th to the 28th of September. This is what I believe Scripture was saying. Joel chapter 2 verse 31. This is what we have seen. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. That's written in Joel. Now if you read the rest of chapter 2 of Joel, you will see that it's describing the events preceding, coming after the day of the Lord begins. It'll be a terrible day. It'll be a terrible time period on the earth, a time of destruction. Chapter 2, Joel. So we have seen from 1949, if you look at my charts, this is just simply counting like Revelation 13:18 asks us to do. Count the number of the beast, but as the number of a man. And so we've just seen this before the day of the Lord begins, and we don't know when this day of the Lord begins. We just have to wait for it. That is obvious by now. It's reiterated in Acts chapter 2, verse 20. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before that great and notable day of the Lord come. Before that great and notable day of the Lord come. And again, you can read more about the day of the Lord and the events that happen when the events that occur when that day begins. And finally, this is the event that has not happened. Revelation chapter 6 verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. So the sixth seal obviously hasn't opened, because we have not seen the stars, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll, when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Every mountain and island were moved out of their places. That sounds like a pole shift. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and the bondmen, every bondman and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and the mountains of the rocks, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come. See, before the great and terrible day of the Lord begins, the moon will turn to blood, and the sun will not give its light. And this signifies, this opening of the sixth seals signifies that his wrath has come at that point. And if you want to read about, again, what the day of the Lord, or the time period that the wrath of God falls on the earth, just have a read of Joel chapter 2. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So just want to acknowledge it on this channel, CBR channel, that the sixth seal, we are awaiting it still. We have to wait. It hasn't come. We have witnessed the moon turning to blood and the sun not giving its light as an ultimate sign in the heavens from God, to say that the time of the Lord, the day of the Lord is at hand. 66 years and 6 months. If that isn't a warning, I don't know what is. From the month of April 1949, from the first tetrad of last century to the last tetrad, blood red moon on God's appointed feast days from the Old Testament. That's what it's all about. The Lord's appointed feast days. Okay, that's all I've got to say on this one. So there's a distinguishing right there between the two. Before the date of the Lord begins, we've just witnessed it. And a very specific event that is yet to occur will be the opening of the sixth seal. And again, the moon will appear to be blood, and the sun will not give its light. Now, if a giant, if volcanoes around the world were to go off, just have a look at Doomsday Rock or any one of those documentaries on meteors or Earth cosmic pole shifts. If those things were to occur, it could put the world into a nuclear winter, meaning that the sun will be blocked out. The exact consequences of what the scriptures say in regards to what the moon and the sun will appear to be like, and the stars falling from heaven. This is something exterior that yet has not happened. Thanks for listening.